Myself and photojournalist Vincent Parker are here on Newcastle Road, and you can just take a look behind me. This is all that's left of this man's home after that tornado hit last Monday. You know, as I've been here in the Mount Olive community all day long, some of the most significant damage that I've seen is from homes where trees have toppled onto those homes and caused significant damage, as is the case here at this home on Mount Olive Road. This is where Sandra Henley grew up. I was able to speak to two neighbors this afternoon, one who lives right next door to the 9-year-old boy who was shot, and one who lives across the street whose home was also hit by gunfire. Both neighbors having the same message to those shooters: put the guns down. Be with the pace of grace, and I think we all need some of that right about now. She says we all want things to get back to normal, of course, but for right now we just have to be okay with things not being okay for a little while. The 4700 block of Avenue T was calm Friday afternoon, but neighbors were awakened to the sounds of a bullet grazing a 9-year-old boy.
They stopped right here in my driveway, right where that car just passed, and they opened fire. So I know it was a car, but I didn't get a chance to see it because with all the gunfire, first thing you do is get down.
Darren Armstead has been living in the Central Park neighborhood for decades. He says it used to be a quiet place to live, but gun violence in the area is rising.
I don't know what the cause of it, but it needs to stop. This is a nice community I like over here. I've been here 31 years. But sadly, things happen everywhere, so you're never safe nowhere.
Anita Sellers' home was also shot Friday morning, hitting a room she just left.
Actually, I had just came out of the restroom, and I heard the shooting, but I just hear it all the time, so I paid it no attention. But my husband instructed for me to get on the floor, and we did. And in about 10 minutes or so, the police came, and we knew exactly that something had happened.
Both Sellers and Armstead say they have no intentions of moving anytime soon, but they both want the same thing for their community.
Peace. Put it that way. Stop the violence. Talk it out. You ain't got to shoot it out.
And if you know something, say something. It's frightful out here, but the only way is to tell somebody.
Gave the people money.
6-year-old Justin Adams was a little shy as he explained why he wanted to donate money to the people of Fultondale.
So they have stuff to buy.
But his compassion and desire to give was anything but timid. Tell me how you're feeling right now after you did such a special thing yesterday.
Happy.
Justin and his grandmother made the drive from Calera. When they got to Fultondale, Justin requested to speak to the mayor, who says he was honored to receive the donation.
This is what he handed me and said that he wanted it to go to the people that was in need. You know, that was his savings, and that's what he wanted to do with his savings. And he wanted to be involved just like everybody else.
And helping others seems to run in the family. Justin's father is a paramedic and his mother is a nurse. His grandmother, Rhonda Johnson, was packing up supplies to take to Fultondale when Justin asked if he could help.
Justin says, can I give them the money out of my piggy bank? And I said, sure. So we went and got his money out of his piggy bank to take up there.
It just makes us extremely proud of him, you know, proud that he's stepping up, supporting the community, and, you know, hopefully starting a good legacy of things to come.
It's been a long journey for the Garretts, but just before the holidays, the family has something to be grateful for.
After about 103 days, from August 4th till now, I'm going home.
It just gives us joy knowing that we'll have him home with us, to be able to celebrate and to also reflect on what our family has been through.
But with joy also comes sadness. The family celebrated their father's 64th birthday on July 26th, and just 24 hours later, he started getting sick, and it wasn't long before the entire family came down with COVID-19, with the patriarch of the family and brother getting it the worst.
We were able to get him under hospital care, but unfortunately the virus impacted him and his breathing, and he was not able to sustain.
When I finally came to, I actually asked my mother, where's Dad? And she told me, son, he didn't make it.
But the family takes comfort in its faith, believing God knew it was best.
That's one thing that I'm still going to have to deal with, is reuniting with my family. Going to my dad's grave and just really celebrating his memory.
And while the family honors life and loss, they have this message.
It's them today. It can be you tomorrow. You never really know. You're not taking it serious until it hits home, but when it hits home, it's too late.
Kinks, coils, curls, waves. The textures of our hair are as varied as the hues of our skin, and the hairstyles we choose to wear are a reflection of who we are.
Hi, my name is BB, and I love my hair because it's expressive.
I love my natural because it is versatile.
I have to have options for my hair. I've been wearing sister locks for 18 years.
I love to change my color up from red, orange, black, maybe even blue one day. But I love my hair because I can wear it any type of way, any day.
I'm Tanya, and I love my braids.
I'm Sharifa, and I love my locks.
But as more Black people embrace the natural strands growing from their heads, many realize the fight toward racial equality includes hair.
I think subconsciously, a lot of people don't understand the issues that we go through. A lot of people don't understand the invasion of our privacy that we get when we are natural. You'll have people that walk up to you and say, "Can I touch your hair?" And I'm like, okay, in what world do you walk up to a complete stranger and you just want to touch their hair?
At issue, hair discrimination, a form of social injustice targeting those with Afro-textured hair.
For me, it is an expression of who I am.
Many in the Black community say they felt pressure to conform to a more Eurocentric standard of beauty after being told their hair was a distraction, unprofessional, unattractive, or even unclean.
I did have people frown upon me because the ignorance about locks is that when I first got them, people were thinking that you didn't wash your hair, there wasn't manicured, it wasn't good hygiene. And I had some clients and some associates to question my hygiene because of my hair, which I thought was just ridiculous and stupid. I'm like, so you think I do hair for a living, I'm a professional cosmetologist, and I'm walking around here with hair that I never shampoo, that is not kept, and bad hygiene. I mean, part of what I do is hygiene and beauty, so come on, let's be reasonable.
I have felt, that I had to straighten my hair, or that I remember Googling, asking my Black female friends, what's more professional, box braids or singly Swiss? How should I wear it? And nobody should have to do that, because unless I'm thinking of something else or I'm just not remembering anything, I don't know any other race that has to think about what hairstyle they have to deal with.
Sadly, this form of discrimination isn't new, dating back centuries. And recent studies show Black women are 80% more likely than white women to believe they need to change their hair to fit in at work, and were more likely to be sent home from the workplace because of their hair.
I feel angry because, number one, you cannot tell me why you sending me home because of my hair. I just got my hair done, so I know it's neat, I know it's pretty, and I know it look good. So what is your issue with my hair? Because I decided to fix my hair in a different way other than what you're used to. And it's unfair, and it's just time out for discrimination. Since being a state representative of District 58, sitting in this seat, I think this job has put me more on my knees than any job I have ever had in my life, because you see so much. You see the blatant racism.
But this isn't just a workplace problem. Many schools have controversial dress code policies some say unfairly target Black children. In 2017, twin 15-year-olds Maya and Deanna Cook were given detentions when their school officials at their Boston, Massachusetts charter school determined their professionally braided hair was in violation of a school policy. The same thing happened in Terrytown, Louisiana in 2018, when school leaders at Christ the King Middle School expelled a girl because of her braids, saying the hairstyle was, quote, unnatural. And who could forget Andrew Johnson, the New Jersey teenager who was given an ultimatum: cut his locks or forfeit his wrestling match.
When they took him there, they knew he had locks. Who told them to pick up a pair of scissors and alter a child in front of the world like that, just for a match? Somebody should have been his advocate.
I was floored. I understood he wanted to compete. I mean, I appreciate the fact that He put a lot of time, effort, and energy to be in that position, and he wanted to see it through. I was so mad that I felt like somebody should have came and championed that boy and kept him from having to cut his lock.
We need the Crown Act.
But a movement to end hair discrimination is gaining ground across the country. The Crown Act, a law that prohibits the denial of employment and education opportunities based on hair texture or protective hairstyles like braids, locks, twists, or bantu knots.
What does CROWN stand for? Creating a respectable and open world for natural hair. And that title in itself is just beautiful. I think respect is the one word, just respect my DNA, my heritage, who I am as a person that I cannot absolutely change.
The Crown Act was created by Dove and the Crown Coalition back in 2019, ensuring legal protection from disciplinary action for certain hairstyles worn in the workplace and schools.
It angers me a little because this is 2021. Why do we need a bill for this? This should be automatic. I'm not gonna get emotional, because it rattles me. But we have to come up with a bill so for us not to be discriminated against our hair.
The Crown Act was first introduced in California and became law there in 2019. 6 other states, including New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Colorado, Washington, and Maryland, have also adopted the Crown Act or similar legislation. And many here hope Alabama will be the 8th state to join the movement.
To be an ambassador for the Crown Act, basically you are taking on the role for your city, seeing how you can push this organization, this grassroots organization, and how we can help here in Alabama. We're trying to establish a bill where you don't have discrimination against your natural hair in the workplace.
I started on this bill, which this session is HB 87. And I started working on this bill, and I also got a colleague of mine who's an attorney. He started working on this bill with me because he saw the pushback that I was getting from this bill. This bill is called the Civil Rights Act of Alabama, which is also adopted by the Crown Act. We've gone through enough. And I think to me, with everything going on, I think this is the right time for this bill because it's time out for discrimination because of how we look, because of how we wear our hair.
We want to make sure that they hire you or keep you on the job because you are qualified, you have the credentials, you have the experience. Like, that's what should matter most.
We need the Crown Act.
For many Black people, hair is about self-expression. And for us, it's more than just a fashion statement. It's a symbol of pride and identity. So whether you choose to wear it relaxed, natural, braided, locked, or otherwise, it should boil down to choice. Good morning. It's Tuesday, December 31st, the last day of 2019. I'm Chasity Maxie. You guys know this guy.
Yeah, I think, right?
You weren't ready for that.
I was not. I was ready for you to go like the route of like, oh, it's New Year's Eve, yada, yada, tomorrow's 2020. Can you believe it's the end of the year?
I cannot. It's like the days are long, but the years, they just go.
That is a perfect, me and Carmen were trying to figure out yesterday, we were like, okay, during the day, it seems like it takes forever. But then when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's like, here we are, 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where this year went. Technically, in my mind, I think it's still March. Like, because it's definitely not December. As we usher in the new year, many of us will start making New Year's resolutions. According to CNN Health, roughly 40% of Americans will set New Year's resolutions. WTVY's Zach Wilcox spent the day asking people in Dothan what their resolutions are. He joins us back in the studio now. And Zach, how many people fail at completing these resolutions?
So Chasity, plenty of New Year's resolutions at the gym. It looked pretty exciting. There are a lot of people with big goals. I don't know, 6 months without sugar. That's
a tough one. That's an ambitious goal. I don't know if I could go 6 minutes without some sugar.
I know, right? I'm like trying to think of a day without a Coke. I mean, my goodness, I don't know if I could do it. But good on him. Hopefully he follows through. He seemed like he had the determination, but what about you? Any New Year's resolutions?
Actually, I want to go to the gym more too, and I have to pat myself on the back. I did go to the gym this morning, so I'm off to a good start. And beautiful weather for those bowl games today. Meteorologist Matt Breland joins us now with our first look at weather. Matt? You got to take the sunshine and the rain, right? You can't appreciate the sunshine without the rain.
That is such a good point. That's a good metaphor. There you go. Think hard on that one, you guys. Happy New Year to you.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining us for WRGX First News at 4. You're all caught up for now. We'll see you back here at 5:30. Take care. Celebratory gunfire led to injuries on New Year's Day. In Tuscaloosa County, one woman says she was inside her home when the bullet came through her roof and grazed the back of her shoulder. She reported hearing gunfire shortly before the incident. Deputies believe the bullet came from nearby celebratory gunfire. And in Montevallo, a couple woke up to find their windshield shattered. Rose Imfinger says she started hearing what sounded like gunfire around 7 o'clock last night. It continued on until around 2 a.m. Her car was parked near her front porch, so when she looked at her window this morning, she realized something was off.
Kept looking, I thought, it just don't look right. So I got my shoes on and went out there, and sure enough, it's like not a lot of something, but it was like a bullet hole.
The windshield is so damaged they can't drive the car. The couple has filed a police report. Meanwhile, authorities are reminding everyone that bullets shot in the air can come down with velocity, which could seriously injure or even kill someone. Alabama authorities have identified the body of a missing man who was pulled from Lake Guntersville this week. The Marshall County Sheriff's Office announced on Tuesday that the victim was Charles Kenneth Land. He was first reported missing on December 27th. Sheriff Phil Sims told news outlets Land's body was recovered on Monday from water near the Lake Guntersville Sailing Club Marina, about 50 miles east of Huntsville. Sims says preliminary forensic reports indicate foul play was not involved. The investigation is ongoing. An Alabama man is in custody charged in the death of a 72-year-old man whose body was found in a well. Sheriff's investigators charged 58-year-old Herbert Sprayberry with murder in James Edmund Clark's death. Investigators say Clark and Sprayberry were acquaintances. Authorities say an examination at the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences showed Clark died from being stabbed and shot before his body was dumped in that well. Clark had not been seen for 3 weeks before he was reported missing on December 19th. Health officials around the state are reporting Alabama has some of the most flu cases in the country. In the last few weeks, it's even gotten worse. People 65 years and older and young children have the greatest chance of getting the virus. Doctors say it's dangerous and you need to protect yourself as well as everyone else.
When you look at the cost of losing work, or risking transmitting your infection to a grandparent or somebody else around you that's sick, it's worth the cost.
Doctors say the number one way to stay healthy is to get a flu shot. You should also wash your hands thoroughly and often and avoid being around sick people. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey is praising Alabamians for the state's success in 2019. On New Year's Day, Governor Ivey released a video touting improvements in the labor sector, including the lowest unemployment record in the state. She also said Alabama had an unprecedented number of new and existing companies that invested in major projects. The governor spoke about how communities came together in, quote, true Alabama fashion in times of tragedy. She then ended her message with a shout out to Alabama's bicentennial and a wish for everyone to have a happy new year filled with joy and prosperity. Pope Francis started 2020 condemning violence against women and chastising industries such as advertising pornography for sacrificing a woman's body for consumerism. But of everything he spoke about, all anyone was talking about was how he reacted to one woman on the last night of 2019. Ann Thompson explains. With the start of the new year, some may be looking for a new career path. And the good news is some companies are in need of workers. Coming up on First News at 4, a look at one industry that's scrambling to find employees. Tomorrow begins the first day of the new school year for Dothan City Schools, a first day that will bring many changes for students, parents, and teachers. Here with more about this important occasion is Superintendent Dr. Phyllis Edwards. Thank you so much for joining us on this early morning.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so, let's jump right into it.
Sure.
Tomorrow is the first day, a lot of changes. How are we feeling?
We're feeling good. I think the school system, all the folks that have been working with me all summer have worked extremely hard. The buildings are ready with construction, the work that has been done. We've moved materials, we've moved furniture. All our teachers came together for the first time just the other day, and it was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for an opening day orientation to set the tone.
Obviously, you just said that the changes are complete, the exterior changes, and obviously,
Yes.
it's going to be a period of adjustment.
It
so
will be,
once that
sure.
happens, will you go back and make some other changes?
Oh, of course. I mean, as you do something along these lines, I don't think anybody really knows the depth of the planning and the work that we have done. That being said, there will be bumps in the road. There will be things that we'll have to go back and adjust. And we will do that to make sure that everything ultimately is smooth and is correct.
How are you feeling? I know that there's been, some pushback, obviously, with all of the restructuring, but how are you personally handling it? How are you feeling with all of this?
I personally feel fine. I feel like that we brought options to the board, that there were many public meetings, that everything was done as it was supposed to be done, that they were able to make their choice. I think they made courageous choices, and I'm very proud of the board. And we did what we said we were going to do.
Tonight, there's also a meeting a public meeting, talking about the budget, talking about the hotly contested
the cell phone policy.
What can you tell us about that tonight?
Well, there's been about 4 or 5 iterations because we have listened to folks. I understand. I'm a parent, and you, of course, you always want to be connected to your child. But the principals have told us that, there really are some things going on with cell phones that we really need to get them out of the way. We need to have students concentrating. So the basic point that we're looking for is you can have your cell phone on you, but keep it put away.